do my best every day and worry about how I can be happy every day. And then cancer will come and it'll go, or it will, take.
Who are you and what time do you teach?
Well, I'm Joe McClernon. I've been teaching 4 classes a week for quite a while now. I teach on Monday morning at 10:30. That class is called Slow Flow with Joe, which was a kind of a joking name we gave it, Maria and I, when we first thought of it. And then people kind of thought it was fun, so we kept it. And then I teach that same class again on Tuesday at 11:15 to 12:15, and then again Thursday 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. In addition, on Tuesday morning I teach a Yin Yoga class from 8:30 a.m. to 9:45.
And how long have you been teaching at the Yoga Patch?
This is my 10th year teaching at Yoga Patch.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Joe, how did you get into yoga?
Well, like many people, I didn't really know much about yoga, and I just had heard about it as a form of exercise. And I was getting pretty close to 50 at the time, and I was getting arthritis, which I do have, quite a bit of arthritis in my body. And I thought, well, I've been doing a lot of stretching all my life, and I'm pretty loose muscularly. And I thought, well, I probably could do well to learn more about stretching.
So how do you continue to grow in your own yoga practice?
Well, and that's been an interesting change for me. I was, when I was first decided to become a teacher, more experienced teachers told me this is going to change your practice when you're no longer just showing up for classes and able to just totally focus on yourself. So that's been a challenge for me over the last 10 years to do that. I think I have to continue to attend other people's classes, for one thing, and that's something I don't always do a lot of because I tend to overschedule myself just a little bit, even though I'm retired. But I look around and see how I can help others. Because in addition to being a Hatha yogi, an Ashtanga Hatha yogi, I also am a karma yogi. So I get a lot of embellishment for my life, a lot of help for my life by seeing what I can do to be helpful in the world.
So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 62 years old. I'll be 63 this spring.
Nice, congratulations. And we get a frequently asked question. So that is, what kind of yoga classes would you recommend for seniors?
Well, it depends on the senior, of course, quite a bit. Many seniors are very, very fit and active, and others have maybe not had a chance to do that or not chosen to do that. So I think something that has smooth and easy transitions is very important for seniors. And really my class was originally designed for seniors, although it's ended up being pretty popular with a lot of different age groups because we do have that slow transitions. And that's what I found as I got older was most difficult for me with some of the physical disabilities, minor disabilities that I've got. I think also just something that moves generally pretty slow and approaching any class you do go to with the attitude that I don't have to keep up.
Earlier you had mentioned that you had some physical ailments. Do you mind sharing to us what some of those are and how yoga has impacted them?
No, I don't mind talking about that at all. I'm very enthusiastic about that and how those two things have interplayed. I have arthritis, which started probably in my 40s. My very, very active life, all my life, including my, not all of my careers were physically active, but to the same extent. But I was a carpenter for quite a while. I also, when I was young, did a lot of relatively heavy weightlifting, and all those things created arthritis for me, and running all these things together. I also was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 3.5 years ago, a little over 3.5 years ago. The cancer medicine has given me osteoporosis. So I have a few things that I'm dealing with, and if it were not for my yoga practice, I think that I would not be doing as well. I cannot prove that, but one has to just kind of go with their instincts on things like that. The practical side of it, the weight bearing and movement of yogas, asanas, are a big help in keeping my bone structure in good shape. The moving in a variety of directions, I think puts the good stress on the bone, my muscular system, my musculoskeletal system, to keep the bone strong, which is a key way of fighting osteoporosis. The calm that it gives me helps me to keep perspective and not get over-attached to how I'm going to survive cancer. I don't really have to worry about that. I just do my best every day and worry about how I can be happy every day. and then cancer will come and it will go, or it will, take me with it or not. I don't know what's going to happen. The doctors don't know what's going to happen. It's a pretty serious cancer that I'm expected to, on paper, I'm expected to live about another year and a half, but I don't think that's probably going to happen. And they're starting to think that maybe that's not going to be true too. Now, how much of that is just pure luck? Every cancer, every person's different. How much of that is the way I live my life and my activity level and my nutrition and all these sorts of things? I tend to think a lot of it has to do with my activity level, my attitude. Not that I'm perfect, by all means. I mess up in my diet sometimes. I, do things probably I shouldn't do all the time. I'm not a heavy drinker or anything like that, but I still don't always make perfect decisions. I do get angry. I do get frustrated. All the things like everybody else does. But the ability that I've learned through my yoga practice to recollect myself and get back where I need to be to live the healthiest, happiest life I can, it's been I can't even express how important that's been to me. The Joe McClernon that I was 25 years ago, I don't think would have fared this well.
So is there anything else that you'd like to say or add to all the viewers here?
Well, I guess what first comes to my mind for that question is just to encourage people to practice yoga at their own pace, their own level, their own style. Yoga is a totally individual practice, and there's no such thing as keeping up. People that come to my classes have heard me say that many times. I know I repeat myself, but there's no keeping up in yoga. There's no doing it right or wrong. The only way you can do yoga wrong is if you hurt yourself. So find your way to practice yoga and take a look at all the different aspects of yoga too. I mentioned earlier that I am an Ashtanga yogi. Now that doesn't mean the Ashtanga style yoga invented by Patab Joy, which is, there's Ashtanga studios you can go to. The context I'm using that term in is that I practice all 8 limbs of yoga. I'm not perfect at all 8 limbs of yoga. I practice all 8 limbs of yoga, and you can too. Many people come, they just really want to work out, and that's all right. Modern yoga, that's totally acceptable, but I encourage people to do a little reading, There's some really good books out there. It's not really that mystical and that far out in the atmosphere as some people think it is when you read about the ancient practice of yoga. Some of the books write it that way more than others. And the book I recommend is the one by TKV Desikachar, The Heart of Yoga, Developing a Personal Practice. It really takes even the Yoga Sutras down to a very understandable level, probably the translation by his father, which is Tirumalai Krishnamacharya, considered the father of modern yoga. And I think if you were to check out that book, and you can pick up a copy pretty cheap on Abe Books or someplace like that, and see what you think about it. It's all very down to earth. When I started to read these books and find out that there was more to yoga than just stretching and exercise, and I found out really it was what I've been trying to do all my life, brought into an organized form, and it's been very helpful to me.